And now I'm going to hand over to Paul. I've asked. I hope he's going to say a few kind words.
We've got the wrong camera.
Welcome to a very special occasion. There were some, perhaps many, who wondered whether we'd ever get my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. Now, it's about 4 weeks ago, I get the call. And the call comes before every family party, and it's tinged with anxiety from Dad. And he said, Paul, could you say a few words?
Kind words.
Because it saves him from having to do it himself. So it's been Mum's 70th, there's been Dad's 70th, there was the Ruby 10 years ago, and I've saved him, he said, just say kind words.
Forget the others.
How much did it cost you?
I've done it for free. So, August the 30th, 1962, I thought I'd cast your mind back. So those of you who were there, and most of us who were, or some of us who weren't, 1962, it was clearly, well, I said, it was obviously the society event of the year in Huddersfield. However, Dad put me right, because actually, apparently, around here, there's a few other 50th. So actually, there was some competition for society events in that year. But I've seen it wouldn't be called a video, it would be called a cine film of all of Huddersfield's finest in their tops and tails, walking in the lodge, wasn't it? But I thought I'd look up and see what was happening in 1962, because it is such a long time ago.
It is, it's a long time ago, Paul. It's such a long time ago.
Macmillan was Prime Minister. Yeah. JFK was the President. He promised that Neil Armstrong or somebody would walk on the moon, and so nobody had yet walked on the moon. The Beatles had yet to release their first single. Do you know what that was? Yeah. First single?
No.
Love Me Do? Average house price. No one know what average house you're in?
Don't ask.
£2,680. Average income, £800, and the cost of a loaf of bread.
And 1.5 people.
So they met in 1960, my parents, I heard today, and Mum had just returned from her qualifying as a nurse. Is that right?
Yes, all right.
In London, and having sort of exhausted herself in London, she arrived into the swinging life, launched herself into the swinging party life of Huddersfield, and down at the Woodman one night,
Lunchtime, actually.
Did you have lunch there yesterday?
Yes.
He remembers it well.
there she was, and she was introduced by her brother to a very dashing, she tells me,
Julia! Give us a break. It still is, George.
dashing man about town who just moved into a rather splendid flat, which is about 20 yards. But presumably, as they were married and went to Burke's Cottage, presumably you didn't spend much time in the flat.
Briefly.
No. And do you know, yesterday, in one of the only romantic moments that I can remember hearing about, they had lunch at the Woodman to celebrate 50. They had lunch together, yes, together. I'm probably panning this time as well, but it wasn't all plain sailing. And I looked up an astrological website that looks at compatibility, and their compatibility, based on the star sign, 42%. Now, in the write-up that it gives you on this, it said the relationship might get a little spirited at times. We've seen a bit of that. In fact, Dad reminded me, or told me this morning, that when he was, is it after he'd asked Gramps for Mother's hand in marriage, he said, "You do know she's a bit of a handful."
That was the day we'd been married.
Oh dear.
It's a fine time to tell me now. And I'm not a handful.
And it also said in this thing that communication breakdown may kick in on occasion. Yeah. So I remember we were going to bring the card. I actually wrote a card to my parents when they was on their 16th wedding anniversary, and I said, "Mum and Dad, I'd have been 12, and I wrote, 'Dear Mum and Dad, I hope you have another 16 years of marriage.'" just muddle on somehow. So the good news is, so they managed. So their first house was Burke's Cottage in Almonbury, which is about not very far, 2 miles away. Linda was born there in 1960. And I followed sometime later. The blue plaque that was supposed to go up there hasn't gone up yet to commemorate our there. But then we went to Whitegate, which Whitegate was in 1970, I think that's right. It was the most beautiful house.
We loved it.
Huge garden, lovely big. Some of you would have been there.
Lots of space.
Lots of space. Dad's sort of training routine involved following this ATCO mower up and down and up and down.
You're going to kill me.
But it was seen, I'm told, of some of the great 1970s parties of Huddersfield.
It certainly was.
We then sold it to a gay couple who ran the Gemini nightclub. So then it became probably the scene of some great parties of the 1980s. Different in many ways. But there were three things. There were three things that were wrong with Whitegate.
Too big.
It cost too much to heat.
Too much to heat.
There was too much gardening, and it was too far from Woodsome. So it was decided at some point, somewhere in the late 80s, late 70s, early 80s, that we would move closer to Woodsome, and so we moved temporarily to Lassel's Hall. Purely temporary. It's a box. It will just do. It's a holding pattern. Now 3 months. Yeah, possibly 6. So they're still there now. Now the finest thing about that house is when you look away from it. Keep it behind you. It's a fabulous place. Now it's not cheap. It's not expensive to heat, and it's very close to here. So there was a complete logic. So my thoughts turn to, so what is the glue that's kept these two together? What is it?
You got me there.
Well, I think I thought about it, and I suppose when it comes to it, the answer is obvious. The answer is obvious. The answer is golf. He likes the game quite a lot. Seems to spend a lot of time doing it. 6th hole in 1 this year. And regularly shooting less than his age, we like to say that as well, yeah. And spends a lot of time doing it. And this allows Mum to socialise. Go take the dog for a walk, and go into town, see the butchers, and all of that sort of thing. Ladies. So they found the perfect combination.
Very happy.
Very. So 34 years after I wrote that card, 34 years, here we are today, and I just want to say that for providing the love and stability and the happy home for Linda and myself
To visit.
to visit grandchildren and all the grandchildren and this amazing thing that these two people have done. I want you all raise a glass, please, and raise a toast to the health, wealth and happiness of Ray and Judy.
Quite incredible.